Welcome back to Let's Play Splatoon! Last time we started World 3, or technically Area 3, and this time we are going to hopefully finish up World 3. It shouldn't take too long. This is actually the hardest level of the world, in my opinion, to actually do well. Not to complete, because frankly, completion is actually not that difficult. But actually doing well in the level is kind of difficult because of how much stuff you have to maneuver around. Basically, the gimmick of this level is shifting platforms, or shifting splatforms, hence the level name. The gimmick is kind of annoying because it makes it really hard to actually fight anything when you're constantly having to duck under cover, basically. Because there's a bit of a regen system in place when enemies don't get hit enough. So basically, you have to just sit around for a bunch of moving platforms, basically. It's kind of a waiting game, and thus, I feel like the pace of the level is a little bit off. I mean, it's a cool mechanic, but it's just, I don't know. It kind of slows down momentum. Like, Splatoon isn't really a speed game, to be honest, but I feel like it sort of lends itself well to, like, playing quickly, because it's sort of like Sonic, where if you can pull it off really well, it's really impressive, but otherwise it's kind of not as impressive. But, you know, when you get a really good run, it's kind of cool to watch, basically, because of all the ink diving and stuff and the squid form. You can actually really fly through some of these levels, and this is one where you can't exactly fly through it very safely, might I add. Also because, well, frankly, physics, it can actually be a little bit difficult jumping when platforms are actually moving, so you basically have to wait until platforms are still before you can actually make a consistent jump. Sunken Scroll was actually really easy, at least, so that's a consolation, I suppose. It's just in a box under this one, basically, to do that, and voila, we have moving platforms. Yeah, see, it's just kind of tedious having to just wait around because you couldn't ink something fast enough, basically. It's not like a horrible level. I mean, there are probably worse levels in games. It's just kind of not the most enjoyable for me personally, based on just how basically you just sit around for a lot of it, which is kind of strange in an action game. That aside, this mechanic only shows up, I think, in one other level, and I think it's done better in that level, so we'll get into that a lot later, though. Also, when you're aiming, it's sometimes, like on that guy, it's kind of difficult because you can't actually see the fence behind you, so I've had it push me off because I don't have eyes in the back of my head, basically. Squids only have 2 eyes. So basically, you want to ink this part in advance and then try to go up as it's moving very fast. And voila! This part is actually pretty easy, comparably speaking. Just go up the wall, and we are done here. That is the longest level we'll actually have today. Probably. Actually, the next 2 are like, Octoling and UFO stages, but actually they're pretty easy. Heralded by loud explosions, the great Octo-weapons quickly stormed the Inkling's central stronghold. Victory for the Octarians seemed all but certain, but due to a plug being carelessly pulled from its socket, their hopes were dashed. Well, that's a bad design flaw. Do you know you can wear up to 3 pieces of armor? That's interesting. I think armor does actually stack. That's actually a good point. This is a multiplayer level, by the way. Here they come, Octolings ahoy! There's actually one level where I can always remember where the scroll is, which is a little bit odd. Oddly enough, in single player, this is one level I can never play. For some reason, whenever I try to play on this level, it always crashes. In multiplayer. Like, I always get a disconnect, a DC, when playing on this level, and I don't know why. Maybe because of, like, some of the geometry being, like, a lot to load or something. But for some reason, this level always disconnects from me. I don't think I've ever had a successful round on this map. Which actually brings up the point that the online isn't the most stable thing in the world in this game, which is one of the main issues I have. It's like, it's a multiplayer-centric game, and yet the multiplayer is kind of terrible. in terms of server connectivity. The multiplayer is fun if you can actually get in, but it's difficult to actually find a match. You have it last for 3 minutes, because it's a very touchy server connection, basically, where if there's any sign of trouble, it'll almost immediately disconnect, which is unusual. Most games just compensate by having like teleporting, like weird ghosty stuff going on, which actually is really bad in a shooter. I've had that happen like Overwatch, where people are just like whizzing around like crazy because their position is like being loaded very slowly, so they're just kind of teleporting basically. But yeah, that's actually the easiest sunken scroll. In any case, the next level is actually another multiplayer stage, and it's actually pretty easy, all things considered. It's actually one of my preferred multiplayer stages. Lady Luck's shown down on the Inklings, and historians today agree that the Inklings' victory over the Octarians was mostly due to their superior number of limbs, and not the design flaw I mentioned previously, apparently. Sounds like denial if you ask me, but okay. Got nothing left to teach ya, kid. Keep up the good work. Okie dokie. Yeah, this level is one that I actually can play on. For some reason, this one works totally fine. And we have another Octo Striker. So we can hide in the ink to avoid targeting. I personally find that doesn't actually help. But again, this is one of the levels I was basically thinking of when I was doing the talk of the previous level. Was basically that this is a level where you can actually kind of fly through it pretty quickly if you know what you're doing. And I apparently don't know what I'm doing. Also, by the way, water kills you, which makes no sense because you're a squid. So that makes sense. For some reason, also when you die in this level, all the ink stays in place, which makes no sense to me. Because you reset everything else except for the ink. I should have hit the checkpoint, actually. Voila. That will solve a bit of a crisis. These little geysers are not actually in the multiplayer version, only in the single player version, which to me makes no sense actually. I guess it's to basically force you to play more of the level, so you can't just cheat and go up where you would normally have to go up like a ramp or something. Also, the scroll is right here. This is also a very easy scroll to come by, which is a problem I do have with difficulty balance being a little bit skewed sometimes, with the earlier levels actually having more hidden stuff than the later ones. This special is a bubbler. This basically creates a shield around you, and yet again is actually a multiplayer special. In all honesty, it's like temporary shields aren't my thing in multiplayer games. I prefer just having offensive specials. The shields, because shields, you know, will protect you for a little bit, but that won't help you if you can't take them out quickly. And we have yet another Octo Striker. We can actually skip this cutscene technically because we've already technically seen this in the previous level. But it's the same battle essentially, except they're geysers this time. But in any case, he is down. That is a really simple level compared to like a couple of them that we've already seen. So, another Zapfish rescued. Undeniable flying object. All of them are puns on UFO, in case you hadn't noticed. And next is what I consider to be the hardest boss in the game. This is the only existing photograph of the legendary Squidbeak Splatoon. The young man folding his arms appears to be the leader. When the picture was taken, the Great Turf War had been raging on for over a year. So I'm assuming that's Captain Cuttlefish, then. Also, luckily for us, I think we can actually... Oh. We can't actually warp to it. That's a little bit unfortunate, actually, because that means we have to actually physically climb this entire tower. So this level is a little bit tricky, actually, because you don't have a ton of room to maneuver, and you actually need a lot of space, so it can actually be a little bit tricky. This level does actually throw me off a lot, so this will probably be the longest boss fight, potentially. Well, maybe not. It's kind of inconsistent. I practiced this boss a few times, and I had very mixed results every time. Sometimes I'd get it like one phase, sometimes I'd get it like after multiple attacks. So we'll have to see how this goes. This guy is basically like, oh, what's that in Mario? Like the rock power-up, boulder power-up, whatever that was called in Galaxy. Basically, it just rolls at you. So the key to defeating him is to just ink a large surface so that when he rolls at you, he gets stuck. That's easier said than done though, because you have to ink a lot of ground to actually get this to work. And also, the gimmick of the fight is actually really difficult to compensate for, because as the battle continues, basically different things happen, such as the platform's moving. So it's very hard. This is a very difficult fight, to be honest. Again, you have to ink a lot of ground because you have to compensate not only for his movement, but also for the moving platforms, which is not necessarily the easiest thing in the world. But we managed. And this phase is actually the hardest, of course, being the third phase, because if you thought we didn't have much room to work with in phase 2, we have even less. On like the glass surface, we can't actually ink that. So this is actually kind of luck at this point. Basically, if he basically is lined up with 2 or more platforms, then you're fine. Chances of that are actually very slim though, like here. So yeah, there was no way we could actually do anything there, because we didn't ink this one. If we had inked this one, we would have been fine, but then again, how the heck would you have known that? So it's like, I'm not psychic, so it's like, how did you expect me to figure that out, game? This will probably work, potentially, I hope. No. So yeah, this is why this battle takes me a long time, because it's got so many, like, variables to it. I guess the best advice I could give is just ink all 3 of these sections and hope for the best. But that's not a very dependable boss fighting method, basically. This should work. Okay, so 3 phases of that, 3 rounds of that phase. That's not too bad, but it's not, you know, great either. But it's also a little bit expected at the same time, just based on the very nature of this fight being kind of trolly. So, yeah, not unexpected that the fight took a few phases, but we managed. 805 power eggs. By the way, they're called power eggs. I forgot to mention that last time because I forgot the official name. Hot dang, Agent 3, you're on fire. But I've got a bad feeling about, well, I'll just go take a quick look for myself. By the way, I've been meaning to introduce you to Agents 1 and 2. Once we're all assembled, I'll bake some Krabby Cakes. Cuttlefish. No, you, it can't be. Ah, time to face the music, old-timer. Wait. Ah, stop. No. Scratch 1, Cuttlefish. That's just a little bit ominous, if I do say so myself. So this is another weapon. This is, yeah, all of these are different weapons, basically, that you can unlock for multiplayer, but again, it's a little bit unfortunate that you can't actually use these in single player. Like, multiplayer exclusive weapons to me is not exactly a good gimmick. So next objective is over here. I actually did some scouting on my other, whoops, my bad. I did some scouting on my other file because this one is actually notoriously tricky to figure out, because it's like under the actual world. So if you actually do the next level, which we probably will because we have plenty of time to do so, we'll probably get a little bit lost. I'm already lost in this area. Okay, here we go. I'm where I started, so I should have just gone left in the first place. So basically, the next area is actually, if you look at the map, there's like an area right next to us. But this is actually closer to Area 2 than Area 3. This is Area 3, so yeah. Area 4 is closer to Area 2, it's actually over here. This is weird to me. But yeah, you see those platforms under there. That's actually where the first level is. Which seems counterintuitive to have the first level really far away from where you start. Let's see. Try going down this gap, and voila. This is not the next level. We're looking for 16, by the way. So yeah, the one closest to the start is actually not the one you're looking for. Intuitive. Oops. Is this 17? This is 16. So this is indeed the one we are looking for. Propeller-Lift Fortress. So yet again, dealing with the propeller lifts. And also we have plenty of time. Got like 4 minutes to get through this. That's plenty of time, really. This level's pretty easy. It sort of combines gimmicks a little bit because we have propellers and also pull-out platforms like in the last world. So yeah, combining gimmicks is definitely a thing in this game, where you basically have multiple gimmicks all at once. This area actually looks like the other world. This area, you have to actually do this kind of difficult squid jump there. I'm not going to go for the armor because it's not in a very convenient location. So yeah, lots of propeller platforms. Nothing too dangerous though. Got some crates there. Gonna get all the power tokens we can get, basically. And piece of cake. And is that a scroll down there? Is it? No, it's just armor. I don't remember where the scroll is here. I'm sure I'll remember when I see it, but for now I don't actually know where it is. Okay, there we go. Pull that out and climb the wall. That was not enough to actually make a dent through this area. So let's try that again. Pull it out all the way, and then now we should be in good shape. Go and squid jump over here. Again, squid jumping to a moving target isn't the easiest thing in the world to do. So yeah, glad I actually got that first try. I feel like there's something hidden under one of these. I'm not 100% sure though. I don't see anything. So we'll just keep on moving. I think it's over here, by the way. Again, I'm not 100% sure where anything is. Just because, you know, memory limitations of sorts. This is not the easiest thing to hit because the missiles arc down. So you have to actually kind of be really precise with aiming. Oh shoot, not enough. Barely not enough. There we go. That should be enough. And now just riding the platform. I'm pretty sure the sunken scroll is right up there. I'm not 100% sure on that though. I mean, it seems like a pretty good guess if I do say so myself. That. Okay, looks like a squid jump if I've ever seen one. So you can actually climb up this, which will save us a couple frames, I suppose. That's actually okay. I was just gonna say if that's actually the scroll, that's really easy. It's like in plain sight, which is a little bit odd to have one in plain sight this far into the game. I would have liked if they hid the scrolls a little bit better, to be honest. Because these are pretty easy to find. And we have octolings again to deal with. And armor, might as well grab some more armor. Not necessary, but it can help. Well, especially if you play badly like I am. So this platform does not go out far enough, so I guess we're having to go up this platform. Or wait, where are we supposed to go? There's that over there, but I don't actually see where to go from here. Huh. Because there's this, and then there's these two. Oh, shoot. I'm stupid. There's a warp. Normally you don't warp after a checkpoint, so that's what was throwing me off. Propeller-Lift Fortress complete. That was pretty easy, actually. Let's see. Hello, can you hear me? Hello? You're holding that upside down. Oh, Agent 1 of the new Squid Peaks platoon reporting in. Agent 2 also reporting in. We got an SOS from Captain Cuttlefish. You Agent 3, don't worry, we're your support team. We'll take over for the captain. But we gotta hurry or the captain is as good as sushi. Let's roll, Agent 3. So, that's another level down. So, next time we'll start with number 17. Before the Great Turf War, there were amicable relations between the Inklings and the Octarians. They couldn't have dreamed that rising sea levels would force them to battle fiercely over the remaining territory. Next time, we continue through Area 4. Thank you for watching, and I hope you join me next time for more Splatoon.